the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we are here with the OP Racing Grand National Series. This is race number 2 of 24 here this season. I am your host. My name is KR Stolfus, and in the booth with me is none other than a returning guest. He needs more abuse, so we're going to give it to him. That is none other than Dawson Wise. Mr. Wise, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing great, KR, and thanks again for letting me come up here and take some more abuse, as you put it. No, but it's great to be back up here, and I'm ready to see some more racing tonight.
We got a lot of racing to go. 175 miles in this C-Force race presented by Zach Workman. So let's get right into tonight's starting lineup. On the inside of row number 1, that is the 23 of Sebastian Marin. To his outside, that is the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Side note, Vicente going to be in the booth with me later on this season. Row number 2, the 62 of Les Levy. And to his outside, our race patron here tonight, Zach Workman. Row number 3, going to be the 33 of Jeff Crosby Jr. To his outside, Batman, the 04 of Mark Mann. Anthony English in the 44 and Andy Brigante going to make up row number 4. Row 5, Jim Mayer in the 95 and Steve Karosik in the 027.
Moving to row number 6, starting 11th is Gabe Butler in the 88. To his outside is Zach Lima in the number 1. To row 7, 13th will be Ryan Decker in the 696. To his outside, the defending champ, Zach Fritsch in 14. Stanley Jr. will roll from 15th with David Booth to his outside in 16th. Last week's winner, Cody Nagels, rolls from 17th, and his teammate Jimmy Reynolds to his outside in 18th. On row 10, it's Sean McCara and Eric Laurie in the 071.
Row number 11 will be the 15 of Jeff Crosby Sr. and to his outside, the 43 of Dana Shepard. Harold Rothery and Dave Hunt make up row number 12. Row 13 going to be Nate Warren in that inside lane. To his outside, the 51 of Travis Elliott. Alex Green and Ed DeBoer going to make up row 14. Row 15, Brian Kimbler and Richard Sanchez.
4 more cars to round out the field. It'll be Len McNeese rolling from 31st with Andrew Schroeder to his outside. And shotgun on the field in row number 17 will be Adam Kilday and Dan Harrington.
All right, field all stacked up nice and purdy like. Might be the last time we see him this calm, but Sebastian Marin in the 23, he knows how to lead this field to a green flag. This man sits on the pole quite a bit. Vicente Guerrero to his outside. Here we go for the first time here tonight. Pace car down and away. Green flag in the air, and away we go in the C-Force 175. Sebastian Marin, Vicente Guerrero side by side as they drag race into turn number 1. Dawson, these guys put on a heck of a show last week, and I feel like this one's going to be another great show to see.
Well, absolutely, KR, and these cars are so much fun to drive. They're even more fun to watch, and you already see them dicing back and forth. Vicente Guerrero got the early advantage. Sebastian Marin says, no, 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 no. I'm going to take control of the field, and we saw this a lot last week. No surprises here. Sebastian Marin back out front, headed to turn 3.
The 19 of Zach Workman to the inside of the 23. 23 going to get a shot from the 04. Oh my goodness, and the 14 of Vicente Guerrero slides up to the top, and they are all slicing and dicing. This first lap looked like it was the last lap of a race, but man, we're in store for a great show here tonight. Want to give a shout out and thank you to everyone chiming in. YouTube chat is rocking and rolling. How y'all doing? Richard Roberts is here. David Overstreet saying hello. And of course, Miss Mara is here. Alan, how you doing? And Derek Donna cheering for Shepard out here tonight. We'll see how Dana Shepard does. I think Dana's due one. Dana had a good showing last week. Maybe tonight will be the night that we see Dana Shepard in pit or victory lane. Good grief. Spit it all out.
It might be, and I'll tell you two guys that want to go to victory lane, Sebastian Marin and Vicente Guerrero, and boy, it's just been dicing back and forth, low, middle, just playing their cards early. And don't look now, a little contact, but Steve Korosek and Zach Lima have tried to make a third line. They're making some progress, but not a ton. Several guys, I'll tell you right now, including last week's winner Nagels, have gone to the back.
Hey, Dawson, do you watch YouTube chat?
I can't say I do. I only got one monitor here. I could pull it up another way, though.
Oh, well, don't do it just yet. Les
Yeah,
Levy in
yeah.
the 62, big moment. He got turned in the tri-oval, and everyone checking up, spreading out, giving that shake and bake 62 some room. Looks like it's all calmed down. Oh, no, never mind. They're dead.
Nope, not quite.
Vicente Guerrero, Mark Mann, all go around. That's the 95 of Jim Mayer, the 19 of Zach Workman, and nobody gets into the wall. Looks like friendly contact. I did air quotes, you couldn't see it, friendly contact, because all it was just a little bit of bumper mismatch. So yellow flag flies for the first time. Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, it does, and I was watching as you were making a couple shout outs right there, and yeah, it looked like a little bit of a bumper mismatch and maybe a couple lanes coming together. And you said no one hit the wall. I think actually Vicente Guerrero did back it into the inside wall. So just wanted to clarify that real quick. I think there is a bit of right rear damage on his machine early.
All right, let's take a look here. And we can see the 19 gets hard into the back bumper of the 14. And yeah, the 14 does tag the inside wall. Maybe about the only car that did tag that inside wall. Another shot at it here, and you can see the 14, his right front climbed over the left rear of a car. Not often that happens with the fenders, but not impossible as we just saw it here.
Yeah, that's a really tough break for Vicente and Zach Workman and several others there. You hate to get in a wreck that early, but especially for Vicente, man. We'll see what the damage is on his machine. But man, what an unfortunate break! As it looked like he was gonna be in contention early. He was slicing and dicing early.
All right, well, one car has stayed out after everyone else has come down pit road. The 44 of Anthony English does not hit pit road. We do have a wave around, and that is the 82 of Dan Harrington. Dan Harrington multiple laps down. he got a late start to this race. Plenty of time to make up all those laps lost, but he's starting from a hole.
Yeah, but luckily he did start to get those back. Actually, that caution's going to help him a ton. If we ended up in a green flag run, and especially through a pit cycle, man, I can't imagine how many laps he'd be down. So he's got to be thanking those guys for wrecking for him at the front. He gets one of them back. I think he's only going to be one down here. Still pretty early on for him to get that one more lap back.
All right, so we were in the middle of some shout outs in YouTube chat, and the reason why we do these shout outs in YouTube chat is because we want you guys to be as engaged as we are. And with that being said, there was a request to show the paint scheme of the 45. And Dawson, I don't know if you've seen this paint scheme of the 45, but that one looks sharp.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, it's a gorgeous looking race car. So glad we got a chance to show that one off, because that's a sleek looking machine for Mr. Shepard tonight.
All right, so Shepard coming down pit road, going to top off the fuel tanks with several other race cars. Anthony English, the only driver in this race right now who has not made a pit stop. Keep in mind, we will have a stage caution at the halfway mark. That will be lap 35, the completion of lap 35. And Anthony English rolling the dice here. He seems to be the only one willing to take a gamble to gain track position. So Dawson, that 44 in a tough position. He put himself in front of this field, but he has not been on pit road.
Well, the only thing I can think is he figures we've only run a couple of green flag laps, and it's not going to throw the strategy off too much for him here early. I can't imagine that the guys behind him are going to have enough laps more than him to throw him off the cycle, or he thinks it's going to stay racy up front. Maybe we're going to get a couple more cautions, and his strategy is going to end up working out and get him some stage points here at the end of the stage. I don't know what he's going for, not pitting, but we'll see soon enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I have long said there is a reason I am in the broadcast booth and not calling a race on the toolbox or not in the driver's seat. Mostly because I quit driving a while ago. But trying to be a crew chief and have these epic strategy calls, I just could not be that creative. So the 44 making a strategy call here. We'll see if it works out for him. The lights are out on the Ford Mustang Musty. I don't know what. It's horrible. Get it off the track. All right, there it goes. Anthony English, Sebastian Marin leading this field to the green flag, and away we go once again. Dawson, it's another drag race into turn one.
Well, it's not much of one, as Anthony English got a massive jump, but the problem is he's got no help. The outside line, big time organized compared to the inside. The inside actually lagging quite a bit, about 5 cars back. Guys deciding to take it easy, but not these top 8 cars. Marin, a massive run. Now Coruscant to the back of English. Drag race off of 2, coming back to you.
Down the backstretch we go, riding on board with Alex Green. Alex Green already gaining 17 positions, and despite all of that, he's still not our biggest mover of the race. Travis Elliott, just ahead of him, has gained 18 spots here from the drop of the green flag. But I'll tell you what, it is always good to see Alex Green out here with OP Racing, one of the founding members of OP Racing League. So good to see that 3 out here tonight.
Yeah, it is. Obviously a very familiar paint scheme to Daytona, as we see Anthony English drop out of this field, and obviously the strategy call is not going to be to run up front. He sees how it is, and he's gonna go back to the bat. So we'll have to see what his strategy call was there on that first caution, but obviously it was not to ride up front because these guys are really racy early on.
Yeah, I will say he did get some points for leading a lap, but he has dropped to the mid-pack, almost to the tail end. Anthony English, 25th place out of 34 cars right now. But up front, Sebastian Marin and Jeff Crosby Jr. leading their respective lanes. Steve Karosik pushing hard on that 33 on the inside. Then is Zachary Lima pushing hard on that outside lane of Sebastian Marin.
It's going to be 2 by 2, and you're going to see a lot of this tonight, I think. The track contributes to that. It's not Talladega. It's not going to be as easy to run 3 and 4 wide. We've seen that already. And also the car contributes to it. These cars are a lot harder to drive than the trucks or even the ARCA cars. They're not as stable, and we've seen clear proof of that already tonight. These guys are going to have to struggle. They're going to have to fight the car, and you've seen that quite a bit already, and I think that's why some of those guys decided to bail out and go to the back.
New fast lap of the race, Andrew Schroeder in the 48, turning a 46.13. He is in that, well, it's a Lamborghini paint scheme, but from time to time, he runs the New York Jets. And I'll tell you what, they got Aaron Rodgers this year, but I'm not sure that's enough.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see if that's going to be enough, but I'm with you. I don't know if that's quite enough to get over the hump at this point in time.
Either way, the 48 has some work to do. He did lay down the fastest lap of the race so far, but he is mid-pack, finding himself in 20th place out of 34 race cars. One car dropping down to the inside and getting out of the way. That is Stanley Jr. in the 41. Stanley going to try and blend back in or stay down to the bottom here. Ooh, tough blend mode for the 41. And it looks like his internet dropped out. So maybe he just had a heads up move there to try and get out of everyone's way.
Well, it's brutal when that happens when you're in the middle of a race, especially on a super speedway, because you go out and you can't see anyone and they can't see you. So the best thing to do is get off the track, get out of the way of the pack, and I think that's exactly what he did. So props for that. Boy, up front, you can't help but notice how much these cars are just wobbling back and forth. And these are guys we saw at the front last week. Looked like they were doing a pretty good job, and it just goes to show this car is so tough to drive.
Oh yeah, this B car puts on a heck of a show because these guys have to get up on the wheel, elbows up kind of style of racing when they're in this car. And they get after it. They're not afraid to mix it up. We will go 3 wide here tonight. We'll go maybe even 4 wide in some situations. But the 15 of Jeff Crosby Sr., not too long ago, he was well down the order, but here he is inside the top 10.
Well, and it's a product of just how many cars have kind of migrated to the bottom. A lot of the guys that dropped to the tail end have bailed on the middle line. Maybe a sign of pit stops, but I don't think we're quite there yet. But obviously Crosby Sr. says, oh, I'll take that space, and he drives up to 4th on the outside. All of a sudden, he's well inside the top 10 as we get ready to put lap 15 on the board.
You know, as many times as we try to figure out when these guys are going to hit pit road, I never once understand their strategies. They'll even tell me ahead of time, and I'll still get it wrong, because they will change what they told me mid-race.
Well, absolutely. And you can have a preset strategy in mind, but early caution comes out, and all of a sudden your strategy's out the window. You're pitting 5 laps later, and it really changes things up. And for these guys, it's changed a little bit, and You can kind of see it in the way they're racing, but now I think guys are starting to migrate to the bottom. We may be getting ready for some pit stops here.
Yeah, there is a very long train of race cars on the inside lane, and that is for sure a good indication that they are thinking about green flag pit stops. They want to gain all the spots that they can, but it is much safer to hit pit road from that inside lane. So it's risk versus reward. As we see Zachary Lima out in front, they're in the middle lane. There's a lot of cars that have shifted up to the high side to start kind of defending what they have gained, and now that inside lane's coming back strong.
Well, it is, and I'll tell you, I think the front two cars, Lima and Marin, I think they were trying to pick up Steve Korosik there, that's now third in the middle. It's a little bit of team racing. Those guys are affiliated, so no surprise they're going to try to go pick up Steve and get him to the front with them. But unfortunately, it's now brought the inside line back to them, and now they're kind of stuck up there.
We are well within the window of our fuel run to make it to the end of this stage without another pit stop. The first group that hits pit road tends to be the drivers who come away with the race lead, and here they come. Two drivers hitting pit road, Vicente Guerrero and Cody Nagels onto pit road. These two cars gonna have to work together very well, because two cars it's better than one car by yourself on pit road, but that car count's still a little bit low.
Yeah, and these cars are so much about building momentum and getting in line. Now, I will say, after the update, they are easier to work as two and make time than the trucks are. The trucks, you have to have a third with you. And these cars, a little bit less if you have a good enough pusher. And certainly Cody Nagels has done that as another round of pit stops here. Everyone but the front five cars, it looks like. Maybe some stragglers back further.
Sebastian Marin does not come down pit road. He is our race leader, but a good chunk of drivers did hit pit lane. Lynn McNeese at the tail end of this pack. Right behind him, that is Dan Harrington. The first car one lap down. Harrington trying to do all he can to hustle this race car back onto the lead lap. We do have two cars out of the race. That is Stanley Jr. and Jimmy Reynolds. As this lead pack hits pit road, Harold Rothery, Ed DeBoer, Brian Kimbler, Dana Shepard, Brian Decker all stay out. So the 23 on the pit lane, but Harold Rothery in the 18, our new race leader, Dawson.
Well, yes, he is, and then maybe he just didn't get the memo in time that those guys at the front were pitting, because, boy, that was a late entry by the 23, the 1, the 027, several others. That was extremely late. Ryan Decker, I don't think that was intentional. He got the memo in time, but couldn't get the car load down, so he gets stuck out on the racetrack for another lap. That's going to be brutal for him. And on that cycle, I think we had some contact. Les Levy's got some rear end damage, and I think we had a couple of incidents there on the pit lane.
Oof. Good news is, if you get in trouble on pit road, we're still early in this race.
Oh yeah, still a stage break to go, and obviously a lot of late race chaos still, as Ryan Decker's found his way to pit road, so he's going to try to limp it to the stage break. But no, a long way to go still. It's not the end of the race for anyone that got in an incident there on pit road, but we'll see where it all shakes out.
All right, I don't know if you have seen it, but our in-race reporter and also our YouTube chat has reported that the 41 of Stanley Jr. said he was trying to get off the track because a storm was rolling through. So tough break for the 41 that he could not finish this race out here tonight, but a good heads-up move to get out of the way of the race Mr. Junior, Digital Armchair Motorsports. Good heads up move. Tough break for you, man, but love to have you back next week.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and obviously hope for the safety of them. Obviously that comes first, and yeah, you said it, a heads up move there by Stanley Jr. to get off the racetrack and not put anyone else in harm's way per se that was in the lead pack when that happened. Is the leaders, Edwin DeBoer has caught Ryan Decker. He's going to put him a lap down for the time being.
This group of drivers that we're looking at right now, they have made their pit stops. They are good to go to the end. And in this group, we have our new fast lap of the race by the 6 of Cody Nagels. He is running a throwback paint scheme to the IROC cars. And a discussion about it was, this was the last paint scheme that the IROC had. And it's been 20 plus years since that paint scheme was out on a racetrack.
Yeah, it's a great looking paint for Cody and Vicente both. Really, really cool throwback to IROC there. As someone who didn't really get to experience it, it's pretty cool to see. But yeah, those are great looking paint schemes.
They are good looking paint schemes. They're not too flashy. They're more like their industrial paint schemes. We want to let you know who our sponsor is, who our driver is, and that's it.
Oh, it's the same thing SRX does with their paint scheme. Simple. You can tell the cars apart, but that's about it. You have a sponsor and a driver name, and other than that, the cars look pretty well the same, but doesn't have to be flashy to be effective, and I think SRX and IROC both did that really well.
I would have to agree with you there. I think SRX is picking up where IROC left off, so to speak. They're bringing in high talent, but retired talent. Local drivers and this and that, and man, it does put on for a good show. However, we have a heck of a race here right now. Oh my goodness, the 45 of Dana Shepard out of shape, and I clicked the wrong button. Yellow flag coming out as Dana Shepard got out of shape. 3 cars down to the inside. And my goodness, yellow flag comes out in the middle of a green flag pit stop cycle. And let's pick up the action here as we already see the 45 a bit sideways. Harold Rothery, Jeff Crosby Sr. getting a piece of it.
That's really brutal, because that was the group, if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, now that I've looked at the rundown, that was the group that hadn't made their green flag pit stop yet, and I think they were trying to make it to the stage, and well, that's the last thing you wanted to see if you were trying to stretch it in that group.
Absolutely. On board the 18 of Harold Rothery, you see the 45 start wiggling, turns around the 18, collects the 15. Oh my goodness. Yellow flag out once again. And this stage, I do believe we will go back green flag racing. But on the pit road, here comes Dana Shepard from the race lead. The 45 somehow is scored as the race leader. Gonna hit pit road, but everyone else who had made pit stops, they don't have to come back down pit road. They're good to go to the end of the stage.
Yep, and that's going to cycle the lead over to Steve Korosek out of that second group we saw come to pit road that I said had the really late entry. Boy, it paid off, because they ended up in front of each of the other groups that decided to hit pit road. they're going to be in a good spot here for what's looking to be probably a 5-6 lap shootout for the stage win. And you could say it doesn't get any better than that, but also, man, it gives us another chance to tear up some race cars.
All right, as much as I enjoy tearing up race cars because it looks spectacular, I also know what it means to fix a race car. So I'm torn between the entertainment value of tearing up a race car and the disappointing value of now I have to work 400 hours inside of 3 days to get this car ready for next week.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a great show for us up here and everybody watching, but I can't imagine that the guys on the racetrack wanted to settle it that way, especially these top three, because, man, it looked like they had it figured out. They were going to win the stage there if it had gone green. They had a great pit cycle. Now, though, they're going to have a horde of wolves behind them looking for this stage win.
All right, this stage is going to end at the completion of lap 35. Ford Mustang pace car out in front of the field right now. Lot of drivers trying to be between our race leader, who is currently the 027 of Steve Karosik, and the pace car. And here we go. Lights are going out on the pace car and everyone getting a wave around. We're going to stack this field up, and Steve Karosik will assume the position behind the Ford Mustang.
Well, he will, and it benefits him here. He's got his teammate to his outside, so I'd imagine there's going to be some teamwork on this restart, and maybe try to defend the middle line like we saw them do earlier. The middle line very, very fast in these cars. Just over the past few months, they've made those changes where the middle line can get going. If you have the right cars and you have enough cars, it gets going. I can't imagine they're not going to want to take advantage and block that middle line, try to go win this stage.
All right, so 2 cars out of the race. That is Stanley Jr. and Jimmy Reynolds. Not sure what happened to Reynolds that ended his night, but he is done and over with. He has gone behind the wall. In fact, he's not even inside the walls of this racetrack. He is already on his way home, probably even in bed as we speak. But Steve Karosik in the 027 and Zachary Lima in the number I don't know what to call that. They are on the front row. Sean McCarr, Sebastian Marin, Zach Fritsch, Dave Hunt making up the first 3 rows of our restart. So here we go once again. Field all stacked up nice and pretty. We go on board with the 43 of Dana Shepard, tucked in nice and tight behind the 13 of Andy Brigante. Pace car down and away. And the green flag is out. Away we go once again. Into turn number 1, they go side by side. The 027 has the advantage as he is hugging the yellow line. Sebastian Marin in the 23, pushing on his back bumper. And Dawson, these guys onto the back stretch. Laps winding down for the only stage break that we have here tonight.
Yeah, it'll be 6 to go when we get back. And I tell you what, I thought Karosik was going to maybe jump up in front of Lima the first time he got clear. Now I think what they're trying to do is they're going to lead both lanes. I think they're going to try to manage this and get one of them the stage win. They tried maybe to get Lima in line. Sean McCarra had none of it. He pushed Lima out there and said, no. I'm not going to do this. I'm gonna try to go for this myself. And several guys behind him want the same thing. And if I wanted to, now he goes up in front of Lima. So they're going to try to manage these lanes, I think.
Man, I'll tell you what, that was a big move through turns 1 and 2. I really thought we were going to see a big crash, but somehow everyone was able to hold on to it. Sebastian Marin in the 23 is our race leader right now, as we have 6 laps to go, make it 5 as they cross the start-finish line this time.
We got a third line. Don't look now. It's McCara and Cody Nagels, and they have charged to the front. They're almost even for third place. They've got help coming to them. I think, well, Alex Green's looked out there a couple times. He's going to stay in line. But those 2 cars, they're going to try to get it done themselves. McCara said, I'm not waiting for this anymore. I'm going to go for it here. And down the backstretch, whoa, Nagels, a huge push. That's what you have to do. But, man, he's got him out of shape, so head for turn 3.
All right, we are 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. And this is how you know that we are coming up on a stage break, because they are getting after it. Dawson, I'll tell you what, that 71 of Sean McCarron in the outside lane. Oh, it's not going to work because he just got smacked into the wall as they all got together.
Yeah, I don't think we actually had anybody spin. It was a very quick trigger on the caution, as the first car I saw get around, I'm pretty sure it was the 51 of Travis Elliott. Zach Fritsch was there as well, but I'm not sure anybody got all the way around, but I believe that's going to do it for the stage.
I'm with you. I think it's going to do it for the stage, but there were several cars pointed the wrong direction. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. The 04 Mark Mann getting a piece of it. He came in very late to this incident. Oh my goodness, just got a freaking, we'll call it a right hook to the left side of his face. Take another look here. My goodness, everyone through the trial will just, everything fell apart throughout this entire field.
Yeah, it did, and I can't say I noticed further back, but Anthony English actually got a piece of it as well in the 44. So whatever strategy he had for the end of the stage, I'm not gonna assume that he would think that worked out for him, as he's involved in this wreck right at the tail end of the stage after staying out to lead the lap there on our first caution of the night.
Wow, I mean, this was a crash that seems to take forever to develop, spread out. Good grief.
Yeah, it's a good thing we had the quick trigger on the yellow flag, I guess. We piled them up 3-4 different times a little further back. Obviously, the one who's going to be the happiest to see that is Sebastian Marin. He's going to get the stage points there for the stage win. And he's going to be in a good spot as everybody hits pit road. And we're only halfway through this race. We've already, feels like, seen it all. And we're only 34 laps in.
We have seen quite a bit for sure, as the 23 wins the race off of pit road. All right, so you're saying he was our stage winner. He was out in front when the yellow flag flew?
I believe he was. It sure looked like he was on my end, at least. And he does get credit for the lead up there at the moment of caution. We did get the confirmation that is the end of the stage. So that's what I'm going off of, giving him the points for the stage win right there.
All right, well, I mean, I can't argue with that. How could I? All right, here we go. Let's pull in the 23 of Sebastian Marin, trying to find him. Give me just a second here. All right, Dawson, you've caught up with our stage winner.
I have. Sebastian Marin, it's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Boy, that was a tense first stage there, and especially for you boys up front, trying to manage those lanes, trying to get the stage win. You get it. You got those points. So how are you feeling now after the first half of this race?
Feeling pretty good. You know, made it halfway with all my teammates. We all have clean cars, still all have our fast repairs. So feeling good. Hopefully we can keep it out front and stay out of trouble and just have a shot there at the end.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And just one other quick thing for you. What is your guys' approach going to be here once we go back green? Is it going to change? Are we going to see more of the same? What's the plan for you guys up front?
Plan is just gonna stay out front. Just stay out front and try and stay up here to stay out of trouble. Try and control the lanes, like you were saying. So yeah, that's the plan. Just stay out front, avoid the wrecks, and try and be here at the end.
Short, sweet, and simple, and sometimes that's the way it works. Sebastian Marin, congrats on that stage win, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
All right, Sebastian, what group were you with here tonight?
Group 8 with Gabe and Eric, teammate.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Wednesday nights, they don't have team names, so I have no idea who's where, and they don't tell me ahead of time either. So
Well,
I'm doing the best I can with what I got, and let me tell
absolutely.
you, both of those combinations are a recipe for failure.
Yeah, I just kind of happened to know that they were working together. They've worked together in the past, and you can tell by the way they're racing that those guys are definitely on the same plan out front. And you heard them. They're going to stay together. They're going to try to manage the lanes and try to make it work the rest of the way. Let's see if they can do so.
All right, the 23 and the I1I Zachary Lima machine side by side on the front row. Steve Karosik and the 236 of Brian Kimbler. Brian Kimbler, someone I haven't got to talk about here tonight, let alone, I believe this is the first time I've ever called his race. Dawson, you know anything about Brian Kimbler?
Not a ton off the top of my head. The name certainly is a little bit familiar. I'm sure I'd have made the rounds over my time. As we're gonna get the green flag right here, and Marin, let's see if he can get down in front of his teammates here, headed for turn 1. Nope, does not look like it. Karosik's gonna push Lima right back out front of this field.
All right, into turn number 1 they go. The 23 and the 236 gonna have to regroup. The 53 of Dave Hunt gets to the back bumper of that Chevrolet of the 236 of Brian Kimbler, working down the back stretch side by side. Zachary Lima on that inside lane, hugging the yellow, but the yellow flag coming out right away. And it looks like maybe trouble for the 15 of Jeff Crosby Sr. So let's back it up and take a look and see what happened. The 15 into the outside wall. And everyone able to scramble around that 15. So a tough break for Senior. It looked like just a bit of miscommunication between the two drivers.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of miscommunication on the initial start. It was a really spread out field, I noticed, going into turn 1. And I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it, but maybe a big stack up. They were already 3 wide, I think, further back, and even in turns 1 and 2, getting up to speed.
All right, with that being said, guys, we're going to take a break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker, The future is feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight as the field is stacked up all nice and tight. Everyone ready to get back to it. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang safety vehicle. Zachary Lima, Sebastian Marin on the front row for the restart. Dawson, we get ready to go green flag once again, so take it away and call this as you see it.
Well, Lima will have control of the field into the restart zone. He gets on the loud pedal. We're back to green. We got about 31 laps to go as we head for turn number 1. Big jump for Lima. Gotta imagine it's some more team racing there from those front three, and you heard Marin talk about it. They're gonna try to work together. Let's see if they can do it. Although Kimbler, man, he's putting in some effort getting to the back bumper of the 23 Marin as we head off too. But for now, Zach Lima had to a commanding lead off of turn number 2 onto the backstretch.
Side by side down the backstretch they go, working lap 40 of 70. Oh, the 236 of Brian Kimbler gets shuffled out. Looked like he wanted to try the high side, but no one went with him, and now he's in trouble. But here comes some help in the 18 of Harold Rothery.
Oh boy, the 1 and the 027 have jumped up. They've picked up Marin, and now they're going to try to hold the middle line. And what that does is now Gabe Butler is leading the bottom. Oh, here we go. Lima's starting to cross over lanes. He throws the block on Butler as the bottom line's starting to work as we head off turn 2. That is Butler, Schroeder, and Workman.
Down the back stretch they go. The eye out in front of the inside lane. Steve Karosik in the 027 does not drop down in front of him. That says something quite a bit right there. Maybe that Steve Karosik machine thinks it needs to be in the middle of this racetrack and not down on the bottom.
Could be, or it also could be that they're going to try to control the 2 lanes, and it worked for them in the first stage. But I can't imagine these guys are going to be very patient for very long, riding behind 2 separate lines of teammates. I got to imagine these guys eventually are going to get a little bit restless.
Oh, someone will get restless for sure. We got a long way to go and only 2 cars out of the race. 32 cars on this racetrack. All 32 cars on the lead lap. We did start 34. Stanley Jr., Jimmy Reynolds. The only 2 drivers who are not out there right now. They are behind the wall. Their nights are done. Contact in the middle. Around go multiple cars as they are spinning in the grass. Adam Kilday on the pit road as he gathered it in, and that car is tore up from the floor up. Holy cow, I'm not sure where to begin with this one, but trouble through the tri-oval here at Daytona. See if we can't back this up just a bit further. Nope, even got to go even further than that. I think I got it. All right, here we go. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Mark Mann getting out of shape before the tri-oval. Oh my goodness, and then it just collected everyone else.
Oh, tough break, really horrible break for Ed DeBoer in the 74. Boy, he just an innocent bystander, nothing he could have done. And he just pile drives in the back of whichever car. I can't tell which car that was that came sliding back across the track. Boy, Ed DeBoer. That's a really tough break for him.
Yeah, slams into the 04 of Mark Mann. Anthony English once again caught up into that. Oof. Take one last look at this one here. Man, these guys, ooh, you can tell they're getting after it, but consequences must be paid. So with that being said, no one go anywhere. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Impossible or Bacon Whopper, I rule this day. And BK, have it your way.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as we are here with the OP Racing Grand National Series for race number 2 in season number 11, the C-Force 175. Gonna have 24 laps to go when the green flag comes out. Dawson Wise in the booth with me. And Dawson, lights are out on the Ford Mustang. Cody Nagels, Sebastian Marin on the front row for this restart.
Yeah, and Cody Nagel's actually going to stay out under the caution, try to save some gas, so he will be in control as he will get the green flag in the tri-oval. Marin, a great start alongside him, though, headed for turn number 1. An interesting call from Cody Nagels to stay out, as I'm not sure we're inside the window yet. So we'll see if it pays off for him. I'm guessing he's banking on another yellow, and the way these guys are racing, certainly would not doubt it, as he's going to take about a car length and a half lead, but watch out for that middle line coming on the backstretch. Lima's to the back of Marin. Now Korosek jumps out as we hit the super stretch.
Down the backstretch they go. Steve Korosek, Sebastian Marin, and Cody Nagels in a battle to be the race leader. The 23 clears the 6, but does not drop down to the inside. Zachary Lima has cleared the 6. He doesn't drop down to the inside. That tells me that these guys have a lot of confidence in the middle lane, but as soon as I say that, they all drop down to the bottom.
Really convenient timing. I was with you for a second. I was wondering if they were going to try to test the middle line and lead, maybe as a few cars clear, and see if it was faster, but oh, we got a caution a little further back in the field.
Oh my goodness, trouble once again finds the back of the pack. Vicente Guerrero in the 14, pointed the wrong direction, grabs a gear, spins it around. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to the 14. It looks like Ryan Decker involved as well. Already into trouble is the 14 of Guerrero. Gonna have to back that up just a bit more. Try this one more time. So the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Oh, and it looks like Dana Shepard gets into the 14. Shepard had help turning that 14. Not sure what happened to Dana there. Let's see if we can figure this one out. Take another look at this. Maybe I backed it up a bit too far, but this is not an exact science. So it is what it is, but it will tell the story. We're gonna have a shot to look at this from from a long way away. Oh, 3 wide through the tri-oval. Zach Workman. I'll tell you what, I don't think Zach Workman pressured that. I think Dana just started drifting up into the 82 of Dan Harrington. Harrington had nowhere to go, and the 14 had nowhere to go.
Well, yeah, again, looks like maybe some bumpers didn't hit quite right. I don't think it was a very hard hit by the 19, but it was certainly enough to get Shepard out of shape. I'm not sure he just hung her right in the middle of the straightaway, but it just goes to show you got to be dead on square to push in these race cars, and obviously right there, just a few inches can make a huge difference.
Yeah, that for sure shows that these Xfinity B cars are forgiving, but man, the ARCA cars that this series will run from time to time are even less forgiving. So we're in for a season, 24 races. I do believe this is the longest season that these guys have ever had. So we're gonna have to see how this all plays out. Race number 2, and we're in multiple situations where these guys are trying to tear up all the race cars.
Yeah, great stop there by Gabe Butler. He's actually going to inherit the lead, and I'll tell you who that caution benefits. It's Cody Nagels, and right when I was saying he was looking for a caution, he got one. And now we're closing in to where you might see some guys start to hyper save and make it to the end, but judging on last week, I don't know if it's going to be enough. We might need those green white checkered attempts at the end of this one.
I do want to have a little bit of house cleaning. Anthony English has gone behind the wall. His night is done. He will join Stanley Jr. and Jimmy Reynolds. Mark Mann in the 04, multiple laps down, but he is back out there. And Ryan Decker and Vicente Guerrero trying to hammer out the damage while they can and not lose a lap. And Steve Karosik, our race leader right now. Travis Elliott says he is scared. He needs an adult. Travis, you know where the broadcast booth is. You know all you have to do is bring popcorn and butter, and the popcorn is optional. And I will give you a hug as an adult. Dawson, just let Travis be.
Yeah, I'll just turn the other way. Pretend I'm not there.
No, Travis Elliott, long time ago, he was in your spot. So, I'm running out of jokes. It's fine.
Long season, you got to get some more jokes. We're only 2 races into this thing.
Well, that's why you're here. Fresh blood. I mean, good job, Dawson.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Stacking them up with 20 laps to go. Our race leader is Steve Karosik. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang pace car. Sebastian Marin to the outside of the 027. All right, Dawson, this is your second race here with OP. So I keep throwing you under the bus, and you keep finding a way to not get run over. So once again, take it away.
Well, it'll be Karosik into the Geico restart zone. 19 laps to the end of this one. We're getting close to crunch time. Another good start. Will he jump up in front of his teammate? No, not yet, not yet. There he goes to the middle. He'll leave Lima pretty much by himself on an island. Nagel's about a car length back of him on that inside line, so not a lot of help for the number 1 machine on the inside line there. Now here comes Nagels to his back bumper. The inside line starts to roll. 2 by 2. Guys are getting a little bit more restless, a little bit more desperate. They know it's almost crunch time here late in this race.
With 19 laps to go, you are just outside your fuel window, so you have to dig hard, but know that that pit stop is just on the outside edge of your vision. So Steve Karosik and Zachary Lima have this field in check.
Well, they do, and where it starts to get interesting being just outside the window is Karosik drops across his teammate to lead the inside line now. Is the guys running 3rd, 4th, 5th in line that can ride half throttle, maybe a little more than half, and save some fuel? It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how much you can save with the pack running at the pace it's going, but certainly there's going to be an effort by some guys 5th, 6th, 7th car deep in this pack to maybe save and make it to the end. But again, green-white checkered's looming. Obviously, you're going to have to make a move to win the race as well. So we'll see as Karosik throws another block here, headed to the start-finish line. They're starting to get a little aggressive up front.
Oh, man, aggressive is a kind word to say what we just saw there. That 027 sliced up in front, and he said, hey, I'm going to make this car as big as I can.
That's exactly what he did, and luckily it's Marin behind him and not maybe another car that wouldn't have cut him the slack that Marin did to let him up in front right there. Middle line, another huge run down the back straightaway. We've seen it all race, and you almost wonder if some guys back further are taking notes on A, how these guys are racing up front, and B, how fast the middle line has been when you're trying to make something happen.
Steve Karosik in the 027 through the tri-oval. Oh my goodness, one car smacks the inside wall. Did not quite see who that was. I think it was the 18 of Harold Rothery coming off of turn number 4, but Rothery gathers it back in, and he has a bit of a hole to dig out of. But Steve Karosik, our race leader, out in front right now by a nose as the 027 holds the yellow line to his outside. Sebastian Marin in the 23. That's going to change very quickly as, oh my goodness, into the outside wall.
Yeah, it's big contact and it's still going, and that's Richard Sanchez, the first car I saw. And that is several cars from about 10th on back that are in this one. Another big incident in tonight's race.
Yellow flag comes out. Ford Mustang on the pit road. Hold on a minute. I'm going to figure this out. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Hold on. Dawson, while I try to back this up, why don't you say what you saw?
Well, it was really quick, and I only caught it out of the corner of my eye on my end, but it looked like it was Sanchez that got out of shape. Somebody in the middle of the lead pack got hooked to the right and bounced off the outside wall and just blocked the track for the cars behind him. Again, I only saw a very short amount of that wreck, but several cars that were up near the front of the field are in it. And it looked like, again, like we've seen all night, maybe some bumpers not hooking right, and you can lock bumpers in these cars, but again, it's so precise, and if you miss it by a few inches, all of a sudden you block the racetrack and you're piling up 10 cars like we just did right there.
David Booth goes for a heck of a ride here. This is a heck of a ride for the 77. He's actually going to end up going backwards on the racetrack and cause a few more cars to get caught up in it.
Yeah, he came to a dead stop after I'm pretty sure he caught the catch fence right there. Oh, man. A really wild ride. He got hit a few times in that. And yeah, you're right. He ends up going the opposite direction, even further than a dead stop.
I mean, that's rough. That is. Ooh. All right, so 13 laps to go on the schedule here. Steve Karosik, our race leader. And Dawson, lights are on the Ford Mustang. But I don't think it's the last time we're going to see this Ford out in front.
No, I don't think so either. Just the way these guys have been racing up front, and especially, even if it is teammate racing, these three cars up front have been very, very aggressive and very, I don't want to say reckless. I think that's the wrong word to use. It's definitely calculated. It's just, I don't think it's going to work for much longer. These guys are starting to run out of patience, and eventually one of these blocks, I'm afraid it's just not going to, it's not going to be in time. And boy, if these guys keep doing it, we could be looking at a much bigger incident than we've had the rest of the night so far.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network. We are going to go back to Green Flag Racing with 11 laps to go. In the booth with me is none other than Dawson Wise. Dawson, this green flag going to fly whether or not that Ford Mustang can get out of the way. So take it away, Dawson.
It'll be Karosik again. His teammates lined up 2 and 3, but these guys aren't going to be as patient, I'm afraid, the rest of the way. He gets the green flag. He's back on the loud pedal, and it's another big jump for the 027. We'll see if this time he's going to take the middle one into one. Nope, Nagel's pushing Lima out front. So, again, less patience. 11 to go. These guys are starting to wind it up here into 1 and 2 as they start to position themselves for the end of this race. We head to the super stretch, 2 by 2 all the way back.
The KTM paint scheme of Zachary Lima on the outside has the advantage going into turn number 3. Trouble! Cody Nagels, oh, he got out of shape, and everyone else behind him got caught up in it. Big time crash through turns 3 and 4. Yellow flag comes out once again, and Dawson, this is a big one.
We knew it would happen. We were just waiting on with the move that was gonna trigger it, and it did right there. It's side drafting gone wrong at the front of the field, and it's Nagels and Korosek, and man, they got close enough together. They could have hit. I couldn't tell if it was a big enough hit to get somebody out of shape, but it certainly got the 6 car loose going into turn number 3, and this one is the patented big one we've been waiting on all night.
Patented big one for sure. I like the way you said that. You always got to hold your breath every time these guys go around the racetrack, because you never know when that big one is going to hit. And I have hit all the wrong buttons once again. Take another look here. On board with Andy Brigante, and you can see the field is already stacked up. Les Levy in the 62. Gets a little bit of it. Take one more look here. And it's just race cars going everywhere.
Yeah, that's what tends to happen when it starts at the front of the field. The track gets blocked, and all of a sudden the field is flying apart going into the corner, and that's really the worst place they could have started that wreck. The track narrows up as you go onto the banking, and yeah, I could have seen that one coming the way they were racing at the front. Really, not the only car without damage that I can see on my end at this point is the race leader.
All right, we are inside of 10 laps to go. Zachary Lima, Steve Korosek sitting 1 and 2. So Dawson, if you had to maybe stretch your fuel tank, you were last on pit road on lap 49. You knew this was a 75 lap race. No, 70 lap race. Sorry, halfway mark was 35. You had to hit pit road on lap 49 on a 70 lap race. Could you make it to the end?
I doubt it. It's going to be extremely tough. With all the caution laps, maybe you're able to turn the car off, and we certainly run a lot of yellow flag laps under this run. I don't have an exact number, but it feels like we've been under yellow 3, 4, 5 times just since we've gone back green. So maybe if you turn the car off and coast most of the way around, you could stretch it, but that's putting you right on the 70 number and not any extra for any green, white checkers. And eventually, you got to start to think these leaders are perhaps going to run it close, especially these front 2 cars.
Well, the lights are out on the Ford Mustang. Zachary Lima, Steve Carosi, Cody Nagels, Dave Hunt, and Andrew Schroeder in the 48. Oof. Running that New York Jets paint scheme. Oof. Oof. I know it doesn't say Jets too prominently, but oof. I don't know. I'm anxious to see this football season. So here we go. Lights are out. Ford Mustang probably had the lights go out because it's a Ford and they can't figure out how to keep them on. That's okay. I work at GM and we can't figure out how to keep bearings in a 6.2. So it's all fun and games until someone loses an engine.
Yeah, certainly, and we'll have to see if any of those problems happen to these multiple Chevrolets running up at the front of the field. But we're gonna get it started here with 7 laps to go. Teammates on the front row again. This time it's Lima. Back to the green flag. A big jump. Oh, some contact even. There, right at the stripe. That was very odd. The one car looked like it was gonna hook sideways there for a second. Headed back to turn 1.
Here we go, side by side into turn number 1. Zachary Lima, our race leader. Oh, trouble! The 19 of Zach Workman into the outside wall. The yellow flag is going to fly. And we have a second big one in just as many caution flags.
Well, I hate to sound like a broken record. I hate to interrupt you as well, but I hate to sound like a broken record, but I think this is more of the same. Bumpers not coming together, and we've piled them up again, and man, just another one of the same incidents we've seen all night.
Yeah, it has been a rough night for these guys because they're making mistakes, yes, but they are within inches of being perfect. So how do you say you're making a mistake? Because you missed it by an inch on a 2.5 mile track?
Well, no, not at all. It's mistakes, but then again, it's mistakes at 180 miles an hour, and obviously a lot less margin for error when these guys are at full song. Just a rough night in these cars on this track. It's just a combo of all of those things, and it just happens to be a rough night for them.
All right, so yellow flag is out. We currently have 6 laps to go. This time around, we'll, if you carry the L, subtract the S, and add the T, that makes it 5 laps to go.
Yeah, we're getting dangerously close to green-white checker territory now. As these leaders, it's 2 things. Number 1, you like to be able to turn the car off and stretch it if you're some of these lead cars that haven't pit in 20 or so laps. But at the same time, the thought's starting to make its way into your brain that this race is going to go past the scheduled distance, and especially if you're one of these top 3, 4, 5 cars, you start to get some doubt that you're going to be able to stretch that fuel tank all the way to the checkered flag.
Keep in mind, we will use 2 attempts at a green-white checkered should we need them. And we do have one more time around with this pace car. Lights will go out this time across the start-finish line. To do a little bit of housekeeping, we have had a few more cars go behind the wall. Jeff Crosby Sr. in the 15 scored in 28th place. Looks like his night is done. Alex Green in 29th after completing 57 laps. He is behind the wall. His night is done. Mark Mann in the 04 scored in 30th. Richard Sanchez in the 510 scored in 31st. Anthony English in the 44 finds himself 32nd. 33rd goes to Stanley Jr. in the 41. And Jimmy Reynolds finds himself in 34th spot. So those drivers have all gone behind the wall. David Booth in the 77, multiple laps down, but he is still out there cycling around. Lynn McNeese in the 84, not as many laps down as David Booth, but still quite a few. And Dan Harrington, Travis Elliott joining in on those drivers who are not on the lead lap. But the lights have gone out on the Ford Mustang. Zachary Lima and Cody Nagels will lead this field to the green flag. That green flag is going to drop with 3 laps to go, Dawson. That's an organic kind of green-white checkered situation.
It is, and we're going to have to see if they can make it around to the white flag. Even a little bit past the white flag, as we learned last week, is apparently not enough, as we definitely got half the field past the white flag, and the caution still flew. So they got to make it definitive tonight, I think, if they don't want a yellow to come out and trigger a green-white checkered.
All right, so here we go. Stacked up side by side, 2 by 2. The ants go marching. I don't know how you say it. Ants go marching 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. I think that's how you say it.
I think it is, yes.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, I mean, Zachary Lima, Cody Nagels, they're not ants, but they're going to go marching hurrah, hurrah if they win the race.
Well, absolutely, and boy, what a start to the year it would be for Cody Nagels if he can somehow pull this one off. It'll be a tall task with the teammates on the bottom, but boy, he would love to get back-to-back wins here. Pace car is going to leave the field in the hands of that one machine. He'll come to the restart zone. 3 laps to go. It's go time. What a start by Nagels on the outside. He's going to be dead even. We got a drag race down to turn 1, but here's the problem. Their help is about a car length back, headed to turns number 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was a huge gap from the front row to the second row, but that group is closing in on them, and someone's going to get a hard shot to their back bumper. Who can hold on to it as they come through turns 1 and 2? Keep in mind that yellow flag coming out again. That means we go into extra laps. Ed DeBoer finds himself in trouble. Let's take a look and see what happened here at the tail end of the field. Oh no, big contact at the back of the pack. And Ed DeBoer involved, along with the 62 of Les Levy. And so we go into our first attempt at a green-white checkered. That is our first attempt of 2. So 2 attempts at the green-white checkered. And we're going to use one of them right now.
Yeah, the way we're going, even getting 2.5 miles at this point on this first attempt seems like it's just not going to be possible. It feels like we're going to use both attempts right here. And it was just as the leaders had gotten to full speed, about halfway down the backstretch. And we were really setting up for a great finish right there, I think. But instead, now maybe you're starting to hit the panic button if you're one of these first few cars as you start to look at that fuel gauge.
Yeah, that fuel gauge looking very empty. Our top top 5, last on pit road on lap 49, and now you're looking at some extra laps. So good luck. Here you go. You rolled the dice, and it can only go one way from here.
Yeah, unfortunately for these top 5 cars, you've made your bed, now you got to lay in it. You've picked your strategy. If the car runs out, it runs out. There's no giving up track position this late in the race. And you see Lima for sure, Nagels for sure, they're rolling the cars out, maybe a little bit in front of the pace car and hitting the ignition switch, trying to save every last bit they can. They got to make it at least 2 more laps around.
Oh yeah, the lights have not gone out on the Ford Mustang just yet. So that means you have to continue around. They are all down on the apron. They're trying to cut this track as short as possible. And ooh, they have made their bed and they are lying in it, like you said.
Yeah, this could get very interesting, especially if we get to a second attempt. You're looking at stretching this fuel tank. I mean, by the time we were to get to a second green-white checker, we're looking at over 25 laps. I don't think that's possible, even if you can make the first one. Even 6th place Zach Fritsch, he was on the apron in turns 1 and 2, so even the cars behind the leaders, we don't know if they're guaranteed to make it to the end.
All right, I think we will see the lights go out on the Ford Mustang this time around. Ooh. All right. Think about this for just a second. You're coming to the white flag after this restart. Back of the pack spins out. Caution flag. Last time you were on pit road was lap 49. Can you make it through another long 3 laps?
I don't think so. I mean, at this point, I'm surprised they've made it as far as they have, considering the green flag pit stops we saw were after, I think, just under 20 laps, and these guys have stretched 22 as we run. It'll be 24 if they can make it to the checkered, and that's if we get the checkered on this attempt. I just can't imagine these guys going longer than another 3-4 laps at most, but that's what they've chosen to do, and this could get really chaotic if one of them runs out of gas here on this green-white checkered.
Oh man, running out of fuel in this scenario is got to be the worst feeling, because you know you gambled, you hit pit road on lap 49. We are currently working lap 71. That is a long time on the fuel tanks for these race cars. You just want to see that white flag. You just want to get to the end of this one. But here we go. That Ford Mustang, the lights are out on the racetrack. We're gonna fire them off. We're gonna let them go. Dawson, I have no idea what's getting ready to happen.
I tell you what, I have no clue, because it's 2 things. It's, can the leaders make it to the checkered flag on fuel, and can they not play nice, but can they get there without maybe junking each other? I mean, at the rate we're racing, you got to worry about gas, and you got to make it to the end, even just with a clean car. And I don't know, the way these guys have been racing, it's definitely setting off some warning signs, I think, here. This should get good. It'll be Lima again. Field tightens up. Geico restart zone. Green-white checkered number 1. That's a better start by Andrew Schroeder. All of a sudden, Cody Nagels has some help. It's 2x2, 2 rows deep. These guys trying to push the guy in front of them out front. Headed back to turns number 1 and 2. Don't leave out Zach Fritsch or Dave Hunt. Several other cars have made their presence felt at the front of the field. For now, though, it's Lima onto the super stretch. A lap and a half to go, and he starts throwing blocks.
22 cars on the lead lap. That means 22 cars have a shot at winning this race. All we have to do is get to the start-finish line. They make their way through turns 3 and 4. Right now, the 027 as Steve Karosik on the bottom line, falling a little bit behind as Zachary Lima has the momentum. White flag in the air. It's the final lap. Dawson, they have to make it one more time around.
Yeah, and the third line started to form, so Cody Nagels is stuck. Andrew Schroeder's got the head of steam on the outside. Nagels tried to block. Oh, that was almost chaos. Karosik blocks the middle, blocking his teammate. They're wrecking behind him. Doesn't matter, though. Karosik's still out front of his teammate, trying to throw blocks, trying to keep the third lane back, trying to keep the inside lane back as they head to 3.
Through turns 3 and 4, Steve Karosik has the advantage. Can he make his car wide? He doesn't have to. Everyone crashes behind him, and Steve Karosik off of turn number 4, going to go unchallenged into victory lane, and he does a little bit of flair and celebrates this race win before he even starts, or before he even crosses the start finish line. How about that? What an easy win, air quotes, for Steve Karosik.
Wow, it was a huge block. I didn't know if it was going to work going into 3, and all of a sudden they got out of shape behind him, and sometimes it just the seas part that way, and you can cruise it back to the start finish line. And boy, what an effort tonight from Karosik, and his teammate Lima actually saved that car. They're going to get 1-2, and boy, I tell you what, they certainly deserve it after the effort they put in tonight.
Oh my goodness, I'll tell you what, that 027 each and every night that he is in an OP race, you know you have to battle with him to get the race win. But let's get right into our post-race show. And Dawson, I'm trying to find, here we go. You ready to talk to him?
Well, I think I am.
All right, here we go. Dawson, you have Steve Karosik, our race winner.
Yes, I do. Hey, Steve, it's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Hey, yeah, I got you.
Well, what a heck of a run for you guys tonight. A really great effort. And to stretch it on fuel, you end up coming away with it there. First off, take us through that last lap. What'd you see, and how's it feel to go to victory lane?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I was in the middle with my teammate, and I think that we were in a good position to get it done. And then looks like there was contact made, and they all wrecked but me. So I'll take it as they come. I got lucky there. But the racing was really good. I thought there were a lot of cautions, but when it was green flag, it was pretty tough out there.
Well, it definitely was, and we saw that throughout the night. The biggest thing on our minds coming to that last caution was, did the leaders have enough fuel? So tell us, how much gas did you guys have right there as you crossed the start-finish line?
I saved enough to do one more green-white checker, and I would have had to come in.
Wow, so extremely close on gas right there, and yeah, you come away with the race win. So now you move on from here. You've got the win under your belt. What do you change about your approach here now that you've got that win out of the way?
I think the goal is just to get my teammates wins, to get us all secured there. So, I'll do all I can to help them get the win.
All right. Well, the goal is clear for Steve Karosik and his teammates. Steve, congrats on that win, and good luck next week.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right, there you have it. The driver of the 027, Steve Karosik, our race winner. But now let's move on to second place, and that is none other than Zachary Lima. And I have caught up with the driver of the 027, or I'm sorry, the 1i I won.
What?
Mr. Lima? Is it a 1 or is it an I? I have no idea.
Only the number 1. It looks like an I. I don't know why, but every other number looks normal.
Well, man, nice job here tonight. Tell us a little bit about your race.
Yeah, man. I kind of just took a little break, started racing again with my team, and this race was just normal race, helping the team out. There was a lot of caution, so I don't know. It was a long race, but luckily at the end we just somehow managed to pull it all together and win it for the team.
All right. Well, somehow you managed it, but tell us how.
Well, just between managing and pit strategy, I don't strategize on the pit. That's Steve and Seabass. But I don't know. I think it was just a lot of luck too, because there was a lot of wrecking, and they were wrecking everywhere. So.
All right, man. Well, nice job bringing it home in second place here tonight. Shout outs, thank yous you need to give for this podium finish.
Yeah, shout out to Gabe, Seabass, Steve, and Eric Laurie, and I want to give a shout out to you for doing the broadcast, my man.
All right, there you have it. Zachary Lima, our second place finisher here tonight. Nice job, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there you have it. And one more podium finishing driver to go. And that is none other than Adam Kilday. And Dawson, I think you caught up with him.
I have Adam Kilday. It's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Yeah.
Boy, what a hectic finish that was. The seas kind of parted for you there on the last lap. You end up coming home third. So first off, I want to ask, take us through your race as a whole, but also that last lap and how you ended up with a third place finish.
Yeah, early on, probably up to like maybe lap 50, I was just hanging out in the back, trying to survive. I ended up having to burn a fast repair on, I think it was the third caution. I had some pretty heavy nose damage of running into the back of somebody. Forgot who it was, but I managed to save that last life I had for the final 30 lap stretch or so, and cautions just kept pouring out, so I kept getting position after position for yellow. I just kept moving up the field. So luckily, on the last maybe 3 restarts, I kept restarting 7th and managed to hold that position up to the white flag. And then I got stuck up in the middle on the 2 to go. And I just decided to hold that line and kind of just wait to see what was going to unfold in front of me. And sure enough, like first 2 or 3 rows wrecked, and I just managed to slip my way through it and place third somehow.
Well, it was definitely a great effort and some luck on your side there at the end to get to third. We knew the leaders were close on fuel. I did want to ask, were you close there at the end, or was it just those lead 5 or 6 cars?
I had like 10 laps left in my tank, so I was pretty comfortable on fuel there towards the end.
All right. Well, any shout outs or thank yous or anything else you want to say here while you're talking to us?
Heck yeah, I'll say I'll shout out Simability. Those guys are pretty cool. What they do, they make custom hand controls for folks with physical disabilities. And just recently, I had Zachary Workman hook me up with a ride for Mondays, and he's having me run his company broadcast, his RBN podcast on Spotify. So yeah, I'm excited to run those guys on my car, and yeah, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, it's a great third place finish for you tonight. Congrats and good luck next week.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for having me, dude.
All right, that is Adam Kilday, our third and final spot on the podium here tonight. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week. And not only that, but Monday nights are going to fire off next week as well. So until then, y'all stay safe and have a good night.
Warning, the following stunts are performed by idiots or under the supervision of stupider idiots. If you attempt to reenact any of these idiotic stunts you will see, you will be left with idiotic scars. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Alex Green. Welcome to OP Racing.